Good morning, children. This is Seema Prabhakaran. We'll continue with our history lesson number 2, part 1, Establishment of the Company Power. In our previous video, we talked about the Battle of Plassey. Today, we'll be talking about the Battle of Buxar 1764. Mir Jafar's rule as the Nawab of Bengal was short-lived. Soon after he took over the throne of Bengal, the British began demanding more and more concessions. When he protested, the British deposed him and installed his son-in-law Mir Qasim in his place. But Mir Qasim and the British too began having differences. Mir Qasim angered British officials by opposing their private trade through which they were making themselves rich. He even abolished duties on internal trade for all merchants, British and Indian, so they could trade on an equal footing. As this harmed their monopoly over trade, the British became unhappy with the Nawab. Mir Qasim finally challenged the company in 1763. He lost and fled to Awadh, where he managed to join forces with the Nawab of the province, Shujauddaulah, and the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II. Their combined army, with 40,000 to 60,000 soldiers, challenged the British at Buxar in 1764. Though the British army had only 7,000 soldiers, it still managed to defeat the rulers due to its superior military skills. With this victory, British power in India became indisputable. After the battle, Mir Jafar was once again made the Nawab of Bengal. In return, he had to pay rupees 5 lakh every month to the company. He was also forced to gift land and money to senior officials of the company. Lord Clive himself received about 20 lakh rupees from the Nawab. Next heading is the Treaty of Allahabad. By the time Mir Jafar died in 1765, the British had realized it was a mistake to install puppet rulers. They realized they had to become Nawabs themselves to generate the large revenues they needed to finance trade and fight wars. Later that year, they entered into a treaty with Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II and Nawab of Awadh Shujauddaulah, who had been defeated in the Battle of Buxar. This treaty came to be known as the Treaty of Allahabad. It made the British the virtual rulers of Bengal, Bihar, and Orissa. It also made the Mughal emperor and the rulers of Bengal and Awadh dependent on the British. The Treaty of Allahabad restored Awadh to Shujauddaulah, for which he had to pay rupees 50 lakh to the company as damages. He had to surrender the district of Kora and Allahabad, which were handed over to the Mughal emperor. In return, the British promised to protect Awadh with the help of their troops, a protection for which the Nawab would have to pay them. The Treaty of Allahabad recognized Shah Alam II as the Mughal emperor. He was given the districts of Kora and Allahabad and an annual pension of rupees 26 lakh. In return, the emperor granted the British the Diwani, right to collect revenue of Bengal, Bihar, and Orissa. This proved to be a turning point for the British. Earlier, the company had to buy Indian goods with gold and silver imported from Britain. Now, the rich revenues from the provinces of Bengal allowed the company to buy Indian goods, maintain a strong army, fund all its wars, and meet the cost of building forts and offices. That's all for today's class. Thank you and have a nice day.